Hi guys, thank you for joining me this afternoon. We're live on the Trade Decorator Festival. In this afternoon's session, I'm joined by Paul Thistleton from Italiano Stucco, and we're doing a training session on decorative finishes. Paul's going to be showing you 3 finishes that will give you great options for decorative finishes and how to achieve them in this training session. And then we'll be joined by Paul in a live Q&A where you'll get to put your questions to Paul. You can come up on the screen and join us and chat to Paul, or you can pop your questions in the Q&A box and we will take your questions as we go along. Before we go through to the training session, if you feel free to comment in the comments box, but please wait until we go into the live Q&A to put in your questions so we don't miss any as we go through. I'm going to start the session now. If you are on Facebook watching us, feel free to come and join us by hitting the link there in the post, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Paul at Italiano Stucco.
Hi, and I'm Alan. So welcome to today's session where we're going to give you some insights into the world of decorative paint finishes. So we're going to cover 3 main finishes over the course of 45 minutes. We've got some really cool stuff to show you today that you can use to broaden your skill set, mix up your decorating skills and introduce you to a whole new world of decorating products you might not even know existed. Isn't that right, Paul?
Yes. So today we're going to, like I say, just talk about the metallic Sharky effect, which is applied by a brush, and it comes in a range of 60, 70 different colours. We'll also be showing you how to apply the plasma, B-plasma product, which normally a trowel applied, but you also can apply by brush as well. That's a really cool finish. And then you've got the Chimera, which is a rust effect, which can be applied on all different types of surfaces, textured and flat walls as well. So I say even chairs, furniture, anything you want to do. So we'll talk more in depth with all those about those products shortly.
Cool. So I'll give you a good insight as to what's possible and give you a taste for some of these new products so you can broaden your skill set, get involved with some of these things and finishes that the other decorators in your local area aren't necessarily doing. So it can really help position you as a decorative expert, inject a bit of enthusiasm back into your decorating days, especially if you've just been painting magnolias and greys until you're just losing the will to live doing it. So we're here to show you some exciting stuff today, so stay tuned. We're going for about 45 minutes. We're going to allow 15 minutes at the end for a Q&A session. So, Paul, what is Italiano Stucco all about?
So Italiano Stucco, so me and my wife Julie, we started this company around 4 years ago. We're just all about decorative finishes, doing the training side of things as well. We're distributors for Loggia products and Mario tools. Like I say, these are the finest products and tools on the market coming from Italy. Like I say, we're just here to help you and guide you on your journey. And like I say, it's an exciting product. Like I say, we've got like hundreds of different products you can choose from, and like I say, we'll direct you and help you along your journey.
Absolutely. So if you're bored of the brush, you want to upskill, you want to get some excitement back in your days, then you've come to the right place. So stay tuned, we've got loads to cover. And like I say, any questions, anything you want to find out at the end, save them all up because we're going to do a live Q&A session for you. Okay? So fantastic. See you on the other side. Hi folks, welcome to our first session of the day. So this is a metallic sandblast effect paint that we're going to demonstrate. So there's a whole range of some really cool finishes and ways that you can use this product. You can put it on diagonally, you can stab it, you can get really distressed with it, or you can be a little bit more subtle. It depends entirely what you or your customer wants to achieve from it. But the possibilities are vast and some really, really cool colours which we're going to be demonstrating with you today. Isn't that right, Paul?
Yeah. So what we'll show you now is the Sharky brochure, which it's, like I say, it's a really thick brochure with loads and loads of different colours you can choose from. Like I say, you've got the metallic range.
Some nice earthy tones in there, some nice natural sheen colours.
You've also got the Sharky Satin, which surprisingly is very effective.
It's a bit more subtle, that one, we feel.
Then you've got the Sharky Silver, which comes in a wide range of colours as well. Here we go.
Some really nice shades in this one, isn't there? Some nice vibrant colours as well, if you're looking to really get that metallic pop and something a bit eye-catching.
Yeah, it just opens up now. Right. Oh, so you've got that one.
There we go.
So we've also, on the brochure, it shows you the 3 different ways you can apply this with the Regatta brush, which we'll show you in a second, diagonal and random. It also comes in gold, silver, satin, all those, so you've got a wide range of colour to choose from as well.
Absolutely.
And like I say, on a feature wall, even though you might be able to get a proper grasp from just by looking at the board, on a larger surface it looks really stunning, this finish.
Absolutely. So during today's sessions, we're also going to showcase some of the work that people have been doing out in the real world on feature walls, staircases, and integrating it into people's homes, just so you can get a true feel for what is possible with these products they're going to be demonstrating. Because we're only going to be doing it on the boards, you can't always grasp the whole range of possibilities. So, I think that's pretty much us ready to rock and roll, and we're going to jump into the first session.
Cool.
Let's go. So Paul's already primed the board is ready to go. So whenever you're using this metallic range, you need to make sure, like any paint job, that you've done the prep work to begin with. So your substrates are good, the work's good, the board, in this case, or your wall is ready to go. So we're picking up at the point where it's just about to applicate and get the actual product out, ready to show you what to do.
Right, so we've chose a gold Sharky today, so we've tinted the primer with a yellow tone. Don't have to worry too much with this. So, like I say, this is a brush applied product. As you can see, it smells lovely as well. I'll never get bored of the smell. So straight away, so like I say, Alan said, your board or your wall is very flat. That's the secret with this. It's got to be super flat. And then all we're going to do is a diagonal finish here. So just blow me off on this side because I am.
So it's quite a versatile product, obviously depending on the desired finish or the effect that you're looking to achieve from it. There's multiple ways that you can apply it using a brush. So in this instance, Paul's going with what we call the diagonal effect. And as we can see, here's a couple that we made earlier. So this particular board's been produced in a nice, almost coppery, lilac-y kind of hue. But you can see that there's a clear pattern coming across the board, which has been dictated by how the brush has been used. So we've also got another example. Here's one we made earlier. And in this instance, again, we've got a slightly different colour, as you can see. It's the gold finish that Paul's actually applicating now, but this has also been applied in a nice diagonal finish, okay? So if we show that around in the light, you really get a feel for what's possible with this metallic sandblast effect finish named Sharky.
So what I'm doing now is I was just basically putting it on random with a brush. So it gives you an even, it's basically just shaping the grains of sand. So I'm just going to put a few little bits here and there. So then gently, just take the excess off, then gently just basically go whichever way you're going to go with the diagonal. Now, with this finish now, so if you feel like you put too much product over there, we can just we can shape.
That looks really good, Paul. I'm liking the effect, mate, really good.
So you can put the different thickness. You can add, take away, which is, unlike a few products out there, you don't have that option.
So it's quite a forgiving product. If you've chucked it on a little bit too thick or you've been a bit too sparing with it, it's got quite a good level of workability to it. So if you want to change the pattern, play around with it a bit, you can. How thick would you say to put it on, Paul? If you put it on quite liberally, or you put it on a bit more sparingly to begin with? What would you suggest?
So that's why we're applying it on a random to begin with. It just gives you that nice, even apply. So I was going to apply it as like that. Then like you're going to put clumps in places where you don't really want. So the idea behind that is just spreading those sand particles around evenly.
Absolutely. So you can see today Paul's using something called a Pinella Brush as well. So I'll quickly show you what they look like if you're not familiar with them. They're a little bit different to your regular decorating brush. So they're short, they're stubby, and they tend to be relatively wide depending on which one you go for. So I've got 3 sizes here. As you can see, we've got a 70, a 100 and a 150. So obviously depending on the size of area that you're looking to cover and the overall finish and effect will dictate which brush you go for. So obviously if you're going for a large area, massive walls or hitting a ceiling and you want to get through it a bit quicker, also I'd recommend going for the 150. Whereas if you're working into some more intricate areas, smaller zones or even a board, in this instance you might pick either the 70 or the 100mm brush. So they're short, they're stubbier, they've got a nice feel to them, they're quite workable and allow you to really get that movement and that pattern on the go. How you going on over here, Paul?
Yeah, so just when you're applying it, because anything metallic, you're going to have to keep on moving your head, trying to find that light so you can see from all different angles.
Yeah, it looks really good, mate. So, like I said, the key to working with the metallics, you want to make sure that you're examining your work as you go and checking the light angles, because when it's dry, the light's going to reflect and refract from different angles, really pop out and hit your eyes and grab that attention, which is what we're looking to achieve. So if you want to go for something a bit more subtle, obviously apply the product accordingly.
So now we've applied it, we're happy with the way it is now. The idea is now that you leave this for around 10-15 minutes, all depends on the humidity and temperature, etc. And then just to get rid of those brush strokes, well, the fine brush strokes, you get a dry brush, and then, just bear with me, get a dry brush, and then when it's ready, just making sure it's all nice and clean, and then just gently go over it again, which then gives you that lovely, soft, silky finish. And then, like I say, the beauty with this as well, you can do large areas and just do it in bands, and you can just do that section and then move on, and that's the beauty of it. So easy to apply. Fantastic.
So we'll show you what that one looks like at the end. For now, we're going to move on to finish number 2. So, again with this one, we've got a pre-primed board that's there and it's ready to go. So I'm going to pop this on. Going to grab my brush, get myself ready to rock and roll. So I'm going for a slightly different colour in this instance. So I'm going for a nice purple. As you can see, very vibrant, deep, rich purple metallic. So might not be to everyone's tastes, but in this instance for the board, we're just going to show you how exciting this range of products can be. So I'm going to go, rather than for the diagonal effect, I'm going to go for a bit more of a wild, wacky and crazy pattern. So again, just going to applicate, get a nice bit on there as a base coat to begin with. How many coats would we normally applicate to this, Paul?
You only apply really one coat. If you once the product is dry and you feel like you've got a bit of a bald patch in one or two areas and you're not really happy, you can always go back the next day and just add a little bit more product on that. But ideally, you want to go to the job, get it primed. Once the primer's dried, then apply the Sharpie, and then the job's done really. So just a quick one now. So there's like I say, this is another way that you can apply the Sharpie, which is I'll show you the tool brush now. It's called Regato. I'll just get it now. There we go. So you apply it by brush, like I said before. Put this one on a little bit thicker because you need to create that texture. And you basically just, once it's all flattened down with the brush, you just go up and down with the Regato brush, or this is a new tool called the explosion pad, and in theory you could just make a circular explosion type finish, and yeah, it gives you, it's a lovely effect. Like I say, with this product, it all, I say, ideally you want it in the right environment, in the right place, and that's where you get the full potential out of this finish.
So where would you say is the right place to put it? Or where are people advocating now in the real world and really get some great results for their clients?
Yeah, so you can apply it, it's like a feature wall, fireplaces, splashbacks, it's an acrylic product, so it's naturally waterproof, but you don't want to put it into high traffic areas where a lot of dirt is going to gather, because it's a gritty, textured finish, it's going to be a lot harder to clean, so i.e. showers is probably a no-no. Modern houses would be the better place to apply it. Old houses with carpets and stuff like that, and you want to try and avoid places like that. It's got to be quite it's a modern twist. It's going to bring a very nice.
So you can see now I've given it a nice liberal coating, perhaps a little bit of a spare inside in areas. I'm just going to go back over it, bring a bit of texture into the actual product itself now. So multiple directions, a bit of slapping and tapping from the brush just to bring that texture up slightly, so that when we go to brush over it at the end, it's not just a one uniform pattern or one direction. You know, we've got some really random stuff going on there, which when the light hits it, it's going to look amazing, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, so with this product, I say you can just do a section at a time. You can shape the grains of sand to whatever you want. If you put too much on, you can take it away with the brush and add it somewhere else. And once you've done that section, you're happy with that section, then you move on and carry on from there.
So how's the board looking? You happy with that?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So like I say, we'll show you how to applicate, wait for the boards to dry. We don't need to let you watch paint dry, because let's be honest, that'd be pretty boring. We'll come back in the end to show you what they look like. But I'm pretty happy with that. It's got some nice pattern in there, and again, as we use the metallics, good idea just to check in the light, so I can have a look over it, just make sure I'm happy with the overall patterning, which just noticed a quick bit there, so it's a good job. I did check, because there's a few areas I'm not quite happy with that stand out, not in a good way compared to the rest of the board. So remember, I'm looking to bring a little bit of texture into my finish, so I'm choosing the brush side or going for the slap and tap approach. Yeah, that's much better. Cool, excellent. So that concludes the session for Sharky. Like I say, hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. We'll show you the finished product, but if you've got any questions, remember to save them up for the end when we have the live Q&A.
Brilliant.
Next video and session that we've got for you today is a patina distressed effect using the product called Chimera. So we can use it to create a real rusty ambience and different layers of texture and levels of distress, isn't that right, Paul?
Yeah, no, it's a really exciting finish. It's like I say, when we do the introductory courses, this is one of the finishes we do on the course, and everybody goes wild for it. It's quite annoying. So what it is, so the Chimera is basically a brush applied product. It can be applied on flat finishes, as long as we put the universal primer on, we can apply it directly onto, like say, just flat walls, or we can do textured finishes. If you spin the board around, it's got a little bit of just a flat finish there. So as you can see in the background on these boards now, this is a very quirky way of applying it. Or we have the background there where it's on the flat surface and you apply the three different colours. The three different colours come in red, turquoise and green rust. And you can do whatever you want, really, basically. So
it's a great product to really unleash some of these inner creative genius that you've got bottled up within you. So when we're looking at the rust and the patina effect, we've got to think about what actually happens in nature. What metals are prone to be exposed to the elements and really create this distressed look that we want to recreate using this particular decorative paint finish. So, in nature, things will deteriorate over a number of years, decades, or even hundreds of years. So depending on the environment that you're looking to do your installation and to produce your artwork, you've really got to take that on board and think, is it in keeping with what I'm looking to achieve? How much will this material naturally deteriorate and rust and oxidise in the real world? So as Paul's touched on, we've got the three main colours. You've got your turquoise, you've got your red, and you've got your orange. And with that, obviously we're able to create different patterns and different effects in the actual rust. So in this instance, you can see where the kind of water might have pooled up a little bit and dripped out. Whereas this one is a lot more textured, there's a lot more depth to it, which would obviously be more of a, potentially a cast iron that's rusted over many, many years, whereas this one's a little bit more on the superficial side. So we always consider that when we're looking to create a finish. And we've got a real treat for you up today, haven't we, Paul?
Yeah.
What are we going to be doing?
So we've got a board which we'll show you shortly. It's Infinito, which is a textured marmerino. You can do stenciling and whatever you want to do with that product. So once it's dried, then you apply the Chimera. Not only can you do it on a feature wall, you can apply it on lampshades and different other furniture you've got around the house as well. So the possibilities are really endless.
Absolutely. So, you know, if your customers are approaching you, they're looking for something a bit quirky, they're looking for something a little bit different, a little bit distressed, then this is a great product. As Paul's highlighted, we can use it on furniture, feature walls and decorative fittings around the home. Or, what has been particularly popular in recent years is to introduce it into restaurants, bars and a more commercial setting. So, we're going to cover all of that for you today anyway, and give you a good feel for the product and show you how it works.
Yeah, no, cool. Looking forward to it.
Perfect. Right folks, and here we are, ready to jump into the Chimera Patina effect. As we can see, we've got the board here, which has already been done earlier, and we're going to be running through this and how to create this effect. Isn't that right, Paul?
Yeah, so basically this is an Infinito textured marmerino, which we've applied base coat, and we've now did a stencil effect to finish off. Then we've now put the rust effect on, which comes in three different colours, like I said before, the red, the turquoise and the green rust. And basically, yeah, we've put it on and then activated it with the salt activator, which we'll show you now, and then we'll go.
Absolutely, so we're ready to dive into it. So that's the one that we made earlier, just so you can see what we're aiming to achieve from this session. And just behind that is a ball that Paul has prepared earlier. So he's already got the stenciling done, he's got the coarse grain marmerino, and he's ready to rock and roll.
So basically, like I said before, you can go on a flat finish, just like on that board over there, or we can have it textured. So this is it's a textured Infinito. So first of all, you can do it any way. You can go put your red on first, you can put your green on first, you can put your turquoise. But I'm going to go with the turquoise to begin with. And because it's brush applied. Oh, do you know what? Should I put the tape on? That's good.
So remember, with doing the patina effects and the rusty aged distress work, it's a very personal kind of finish. So depending on what you're looking to achieve from the end product, you can put it on quite liberally, you can mix the different colours in your own unique way or fashion or style. So in this instance, Paul's began with the turquoise, and then he's going to layer up from there with some of the red and some of the green. Once the board's ready, we'll then get the activator out. So each colour has its own unique activating spray. So you can see here, we've got the red, and we've also got the turquoise one. So these can be used on the whole range of Chimera, which you can create some really nice effects. You know, if you think back to the ageing copper, especially in the old church buildings out in the wild, then you get effects like this where copper will gradually go from that lovely copperish hue into a nice greeny turquoise over the years. So you can use that product to achieve that as well, but we're not demonstrating that today. As you can see, Paul's already getting busy with the brush. He's getting the turquoise out and he's working it into that surface. Do you want to explain a bit about what you're doing, Paul?
Yeah, so remember, the turquoise is, like I say, copper based. The red rust is iron based. So all it is metal filings in the product. And you've got to imagine that if you put it on thinly, you only get a little bit of activation. So you've got to put it on quite nice and thick. Make sure you're stirring the pot, making sure all those filings are mixed, stirred up into the paint. So as you can see, I'm putting the turquoise on now. I've applied this by brush, but you can finish it off with a sponge, a sea sponge, or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. You could even use a roller or water it down to a point where it's runny enough to potentially spray it. So, the thing with these distressed finishes, they're not uniform, they're not consistent. We're looking to get some distressed patterns and create or recreate that natural look and feel.
So I've put the turquoise on. You can leave that to dry and then apply the red rust, but because we've got to keep on moving, so you can see the red rust there, and then all I'm going to just do.
That looks really cool, Paul. I'm liking that. So just stabbing the sponge lightly, he's dragging it slightly through the turquoise and just getting a little bit of thickness built up. So when we come to activate it, we're going to end up with that ball and that desired effect. As we showed you earlier, this is what we're aiming for roughly. So the actual finish itself, the Chimera and the rust effect, is a brilliant product to use for people that are looking for something a little bit edgy, and they're looking for that kind of aged distressed look. So it ties in particularly well with metal fittings and some of this kind of industrial look and feel within properties. So whether it's a feature wall, whether it's a bit of furniture, you can really show a little bit of age and make it a bit more in keeping with the overall theme of the design.
So don't have to worry too much. You always got to have an idea of how the design is going to be on your wall. Always draw it up first. Then the beauty of this is you don't have to get it right first time. You can, once you've applied it, you've let it dry, you've put the activation on, which we'll show you shortly, then you can fine tune it. If you want a bit more red there or a bit more turquoise there, you can flip it and yeah, you can do whatever you want really.
Fantastic. So the important thing to remember with this as well, because we're going to activate it at the end, that's always going to create a bit of a chemical reaction. So once we're done with that, the next logical step is to seal the wall or the surface to prevent the activation from happening even further or potentially ending up with a desired effect that isn't so desirable.
So now I've applied the turquoise, the red. I'm going to leave that to dry, just let it dry natural. Like I said, if you've got to do a sample board, you can speed dry it a little bit, but on a wall, just let it dry natural. Once it's dried, then, like Alan's just mentioned then, you've got the red, the turquoise, and basically just spray it on. You can get a sponge as well, and just dab it on if you wanted to, because you don't want too much cross-contamination as well.
Hello and welcome back. So here's some that we made earlier. As we can see, we've done the Sharky bolts, which was the sandblasted metallic earlier on. These are now the finished products. So they've had a bit of time to dry, and then what have we done to them, Paul?
So once they've dried, just buying your time with a dry Pinella brush, just basically just taking those brush strokes away and just any hang of thick pot spots, just going to just brush those off and yeah, make those a bit softer.
So I've done the same with mine, as we can remember. I loaded mine up a little bit thicker with the distressed textured effects. So I've just taken away some of the high spots, de-nibbed it a little bit, and you can see there when the light's hitting it, we've got a lovely bit of texture there in the metallic.
So we've gone the diagonal, diagonal across the board. Like I say, this is just another way of applying it. Like I say, once you get using these products, you're gonna discover your own way of doing things. Yeah, so it's just endless what you can do.
And then obviously we had the Chimera patina rust effect with the stenciling. So this is what the ball is going to look like at the absolute ends. And the one that Paul was doing earlier.
This is what we did earlier, so we still haven't activated this, it's just dried now. What we'll do a quick time-lapse video just to show you how we activate it shortly.
Fantastic. Hello and welcome back. So this session we're going to run you through a really exciting product range we know as Plasma 3D. So it's an acrylic based product, you can water it down and splash it down to thin it out, and that means it's more applicable to being applied by brush, by roller, and you could even potentially spray it. So it's a really versatile product. Isn't that right, Paul?
Yes, certainly. Like I say, the Plasma 3D range, you can apply loads of different effects. You can do wood grain, sponge, anything you can dream of really. The main finish is going to be the marble effect, which we teach on the course. But like I say, today we'll be doing a wood grain effect, which I'll be doing myself. And
I'm going to jump in with a two-tone effect. So we're going to blend in, bit of colour blending there, some green, some blue, and we're going to show you how to bring a bit of texture into it as well. So as with any of these products, they're very versatile. The possibilities are literally endless because it comes in a base range of over 1,000 colours, doesn't it, Paul?
yeah, here you go. Like I say, this is just a paperback copy here, and this only shows you about 50 different colours you can choose from. But like I say, the bigger picture is, like I say, 1,000 different colours, and it's just never ending. What you can do with this product is mind blowing. Really is. Like I say, you've got the just a few images, the crocodile effect, the stenciling, the marble effect, Crackle as well, which is another thing which is crazy. And like I say, these products go everywhere in your house, over furniture, floors, wet rooms, you name it. You can do anything with this product. It's really is amazing product.
Fantastic. So I'm excited to get involved. We'll just quickly show you some of the things that you typically create. We're not going to be covering this today because they're quite involved, but when people are using this product, they'll recreate the veining and the natural marble effects, which you can obviously bring in different colours and different styles. As you can see behind me, we've got one over here, which is quite a vibrant green, blue and black marbling. And what have you got on your side over there, Paul?
We've got the liquid metal, so you've got it's another part of the family, B plasma, and together with metal powder, you've got your liquid metal finish there, which is amazing.
Really popular at the moment. So that really opens up your possibilities to the world of infinite opportunity when it comes to decorating and surface design. So I'm excited to get involved. Are you ready, Paul?
Super excited.
Fantastic, let's go.
So guys, we've got the Plasma 3D, which we're going to just do with a black. We've got the wood grain tool here as well, which is most of you guys probably have seen before. I've primed the board with just a white universal primer. You can have whatever colour primer you want, which plays a massive role in this finish because it's only a one coat system. So with the Pinella Brush now, I'm going to just paint on the plasma. The reason why we're painting this on is to give the right thickness. You can apply by trowel if you wanted to, but we're just wanting that right thickness to give an even finish with the wood grain.
Absolutely. So, as we already touched on before as well, we've got to remember it's a water-based acrylic product. So, just like your regular paints that you use in interior decorating, if it's a little bit too thick and you're not really getting the right texture or consistency, you can put a splash of water in it to make it a bit more workable and extend that time that you get to play with it.
Yeah, on the data sheets we give you the percentage but that you need to water the product down for certain finishes.
So, as we already touched on as well, it's a very versatile product, so we can use this wood graining effect. Now if you fancy getting quite cool and a little bit quirky, interior designers, then you can put it on doors, you can put it on metal as well. So obviously following the system, we can potentially make things that aren't naturally wood, resemble wood, and obviously given the fact we've got 1,000 base colours to work with, we can really bring in some quite quirky and unique designs. So we're going to give a showcase, a few options and a few things that people have been doing with this product out in the real world, so you can get a feel for what the possibilities might be for yourself. How's that coming along, Paul?
Yeah, nearly there now.
Fantastic. So he's put on a generous coat. It's not horrendously thick, but at the same time he's got a nice even coverage just to make sure that the whole board has got some product over it. So as we were discussing before, the versatility of this is unreal. We can put this in bathrooms, we can put it in wet areas, and essentially create a seamless finish instead of tiling and instead of painting. So it really opens up your options as an interior decorator to a whole new market space. And they won't teach you this down the Dulux Academy either. So what are you doing with the tool then, Paul? Talk us through it.
So we're just rolling the wood grain tool just to give a random
roll over there, mate. So remember, don't be a fool, clean your tool. As we are with any interior decorating or fine decorative finishes, keeping a clean, tidy workspace is key. If we're getting mess all over the place, if you're leaving your tools to get gunked up and you're not looking after them, it is ultimately going to affect the finish. So you wouldn't leave your brand new Purdy brush dry and crusty in paint, would you? So the same applies when it comes to your wood graining tools, your trowels and your fine finish rollers. So that's looking really good, Paul. What are you doing there? So you're just dragging it through, are you? Are you pushing quite hard, or are you just dragging it through with a light amount of pressure?
Just a light amount of pressure. Like I said, this product, the Plasma 3D, it's so easy to work with. If you're not happy with a band of wood grain, you basically just flatten it off with your trowel and do that section again.
Fantastic. So it's quite forgiving. So you hear that, folks? So if you do mess it up, you can always scrub it out and go back over it a couple of times to get the desired effect that you're looking for. So I think he's done a sterling job there, and I expect nothing less from the master. That's looking really good, Paul. So anything else that the folks need to know watching the video before we wrap this session up?
Yeah, so basically what we're going to do with this finish now is once you've done that, you're happy. If you're not, like I say, redo it again, but if you're happy, just leave that till the next day. What we're going to do is de-nib the high spots with the back end of a trowel, and then buff with a 4000 and burnish with a trowel, and then it'll be, say, really nicely high polished finish.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing the end result.
Cool.
Hello. So this session, I'm going to take you through a two-tone colour blending experience. We've got a lovely vibrant blue in the tub here of Plasma 3D. We're going to be creating a wonderful blend using this lovely, rich, almost sea green kind of colour. So we're going to be using the trowel, the filling knife, the brush, and then finishing with a textured sponge roller. So it's such a versatile product. We've got the opportunity to use a range of tools. Like I say, if you watered it down enough, you could potentially spray it as well. So the board has already been primed. I'm going to begin with the brush.
So just basically painting it on like you would any paint.
So I'm going reasonably generous. I'm not going to go too sparingly because it is a one coat wonder that I'm looking for here.
So remember, the reason why we're brushing it on is to give that the right thickness, so when we do apply the sponge roller, it's a continuous, the right thickness all the way across the board. Like I say, as Alan's applying this, I'll just go through a few different scenarios and different ways of applying the plasma. So Applying Crackle is another option as well. It's a really cool finish, good for splashbacks, walls, or you just integrate it into a finish. And that too is brush applied, the Crackle. Then you've got, like I say, a little bit about the B Plasma, which is a sister product to the Plasma 3D, which you get to learn all about on the course. And that is a B Plasma and B Plasma liquid metal that you can see here. That's one way of applying it. And this one over here is Plasma 3D, which is the marble effect, which you can scrape out the veins with using the groove tool. Yeah, so it's endless what you can do with this product.
So what is the difference between B Plasma and Plasma 3D, Paul? Because you mentioned two different products there.
Yeah, so Plasma 3D is that you apply normally with a trowel or a brush, and then you burnish and buff up with a 4000 pad. With B Plasma, you apply by trowel and then you leave it till the next day, because it's got a hardener in it. It sets a lot faster, and you, instead of burnishing and sanding it for a 4000, you then use a Merkur sanding orbital sander to go through the layers. So you start off with a 400 all the way to 4000.
That's the one. So as we can see, we've applied the lovely blue Plasma 3D to the balls, so it's got a nice generous coat on there, good consistency, good thickness. I've applied some green onto my trowel, and all I'm going to do is just gently bring some of the green into the blue, creating a lovely two-tone blend. I'm then going to flatten it off using the trowel, and I'm going to finish with a textured roller. So the key to the two-toning really is not to put too much on to begin with, because we want to get a nice colour blend as we're working through the board. So just dragging it all the way through. Obviously, if you're not too familiar with the trowel, we want a reasonably light amount of pressure as we're doing so. So if I'm pressing too hard onto it, I'm going to end up potentially gouging into the material and going back through to the base coat. The beauty of this as well is if I don't like it, I can always start again. Isn't that right, Paul?
Yeah, it's like I say, you've got to remember, like I say, you've applied it with a brush, you've got the right thickness, and then you're applying it with a trowel, so you're just not going to be putting too much on. All you're just doing is just creating a blend of different colours, really. So with the 1000 different colours to choose from, like I say, the possibilities are endless.
Absolutely. So you've got the first bit of green. I'm going to go for one more splodge, pop it onto the trowel, and obviously if I want to make sure that there's nice colour blend coming all the way through, so I'm going to start at the top corner this time and just bring it down and into it. So you can see it almost resembles like a kind of green and blue ocean blend. I'm going to flatten it off with a trowel, and then I'm going to finish with a little bit of texturing on the roller. So really nice little board here, and as Paul's mentioned, we've got so many colours in this range, you don't have to just be limited between the green and blue. So right, colours are good, I'm happy overall. I don't want to add any more colour, I just want to flatten it off just to make sure it's nice, and then we'll roll it out using a sponge roller. So what else can we do with these liquid metals, Paul? They sounded really exciting when you mentioned them earlier. What is possible within the range of the metals?
The metals are just like the B Plasma. You can apply it anywhere, on doors, furniture, wet rooms, steam rooms, fireplaces. The possibilities are endless with it. And with the B Plasma metal, it's a lot easier to apply as well.
So you can see there we've done the two-tone blend. I'm just going to take the sponge roller through in consistent passes, medium amount of pressure, and that is just going to add in this lovely texture into my design. So not only is it visually impressive, it is also nice to the touch.
Hi guys, welcome back. That was an absolutely brilliant session, and as they said there at the end of the session, the possibilities are endless what you can achieve with these products. We are going to be joined live now by Paul Thistleton from Italiano Stucco, and you'll get your opportunity to put your questions to Paul about all of the products that you've just seen. Hi guys, welcome to the Q&A. I'm joined now live by Paul Thistleton from Italiano Stucco. Hi Paul, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no, how you doing? You okay?
Yeah, great, thank you. Oh, I really enjoyed the session. There's obviously endless potential with these products. It was fantastic.
Yeah, no, like I say, we've got such a wide range here. We've got maybe about 20 different products you can choose from. What you can do with these products are just endless. It's just down to the individual of what they can achieve really. So, like I say, we've got the line-based marmarinos. We've got acrylic-based products, which I see you've seen on the training session, which is you can go into shower rooms, floors, doors, furniture. We've got some nice, easy metallic finishes, which are ideal for painters as well. So, like I said, the range is massive.
Brilliant. Well, everybody, welcome to the session. Feel free to comment as we go along in the comments box as you wish. We do have a section beneath myself and Paul that says ask a question. If you could hit that tab for me, if you wanted to ask a question and type your questions in there, it will just help us to keep things moving smoothly, and won't lose your questions in the comments box. If you would like to come up on the screen and talk to Paul in person, if you want to just type into the comments box that you'd like to come and ask a question, and I can bring you up on the screen to talk to us. I can see we've got a few questions already for you, Paul. Damien Creedon is asking, he says he may have missed it, but do you supply the universal primers tinted to the base colours needed?
Yeah, so for the likes of Sharky, if you're going to order some Sharky from the website or from ourselves, you basically just choose a colour from the brochure, and we then tell you we supply the actual universal primer tinted already for that colour code. So we do everything for you. All we need is the colour code and the square meterage, and we supply everything and tell you what needs doing.
Okay. Question from Steve Smith. He says, as mentioned by Paul, if you're doing little sections over a large wall, I'm presuming they blend into each other once dried.
Yes, with being an acrylic and the way it's a textured finish anyway, once you start from the top of the left-hand side, for instance, as you're going down in bands, depending what pattern you're going to be doing, you don't have to really stress or worry about any dry lines. It just blends in really nice and easy.
Fantastic. And David Ronald says, hi Paul, how do you finish Volare? Is it burnished and waxed?
So Volare is a medium line-based marmarino. The possibilities with this finish is absolutely, it's never ending. With that particular finish, about burnishing it, you'd apply your first coat, then you'd apply your second coat, and it's up to yourself. You can leave it matte, satin, or you can polish it, and then you can either put a matte sealer, or you can apply waxes on top of that as well. So it's endless. The choice, as I say, when you're applying on walls, there's not really that many rules. You can break the rules quite easily with the walls, but when on the flooring products, you've got to stick to the specific rules we put in place. But yeah, no, it's endless.
So you mentioned there about walls and floors. What surfaces can I use your products on?
The line-based products are only for ceilings and walls. The acrylic, which is the plasma, that can be applied on worktops and floors, and like I say, doors as well. Your metallics is just the same thing with the line base. It's just a decorative finishes. So for your metallics, like your Voluto, the Montanapoleone, your Ceta, all your Sharkies, what you've seen on the training video, they're really just for ceilings and walls as well. Okay,
and what about if I had a client that wanted me to do something decorative in the bathroom? Do you decorative finishes for bathrooms?
So in the bathrooms, if it's away from the shower, you can use a really wide range of our products. But once you start going into the shower area, yeah, that's when it starts narrowing down the choices you've got. But we've got the micro cement finishes, we've got B plasma, plasma 3D, moquette. You can apply infinitos and your Velaris as well in the shower area, but you basically put a polyurethane seal on top of that as well. But like I say, we always suggest really more the micro cement and the B plasma for the shower areas.
Right. And Paul Wilcoxon is asking, how is the product protected after application?
Yeah, so we've got a wide range of sealers. You've got waxes for low traffic areas, and as you go through into more high traffic areas, you've got the more, let's say, polyurethane sealers, acrylic sealers. But like I say, what normally happens is the customer will tell us whereabouts it is. Is it going to get wet and etc. And we just recommend whichever sealers. Which is best for the job.
Okay. Another question. I've got one from Justin who says, do you have to be artistic or have a good imagination for applying?
When you come and do the course, ideally we like to go on the introductory course first, and we show you 5 different products, 5 different finishes, just so you can get a feel of which direction you want to go into. You don't have to be artistic, no. But like I said, like the Volari or the Sharky, and there's quite other products as well. We can really direct you into, like I say, it's a very easy how to apply these products. But when you come to do plasma and a few other artistic finishes, you have to be we can guide you basically from the starting point, and then as we go through all the different courses, you can pick up as you go along. Really, like I say, we've got like I say art. Like I said, when you're talking about artistics, like I say, we've got an artist coming over to do a course with us as well, and she's going to be like directing us how to do veining and all these other types of finishes as well. So it's exciting times, really.
Oh, brilliant! So it's something that you can sort of learn as you go along.
100%,
get a feel for it.
Yeah, 100%.
And are your products water-based?
Water-based, no, we've got lime-based products, we've got water-based products. It's all, like I say, it all depends which direction, where the product's going to go. It all depends on about the products. Yeah, like I say, mainly the Venetian is all that's how it all started. It's all lime-based products, decorative finishes. But like I say, Lodger now, they're really good with the acrylic finishes. So. And that will enable you to do wet rooms, shower rooms, like around swimming pools as well. So,
oh, that's interesting. Brian Dennett's asking, he said the examples at the end of the session that you showed, some were very glossy. Is it a clear coat that you put over the top?
No, so the acrylic, once you polish up the acrylic, that becomes naturally shiny. With the, like say for Volari, like we just mentioned before, a lime base, we can just leave that matte finish if you wanted to. You can have satin and you can have like gloss as well. So it all depends on what look and what feel you're really trying to achieve.
Yeah. And how long would you say it takes to learn how to do these products?
On the Sharky, for instance, you could pick that up within weeks. And what we normally say is come on the course, apply it on some sample boards or in the booth, go away and apply, same again, on some sample boards and maybe some small walls in your house just to get that confidence level up. And then after that, like I say, within a few weeks on certain finishes, you can then start applying in people's homes. For the likes of Riflesso, which is a high polished finish, that's one of the hardest finishes in Venetian, and that we like to tell you people just to go away, practice until you feel confident, and then go from there, really.
And Pete Walters is saying, can you do a large wall over 2 days or take breaks when applying?
It all depends on what finish. Really, you don't want to be leaving breaks and then coming back the next day. No, it's normally you do a wall at a time, and you can do the opposites, leave the opposites, and then come back and do the next day and do the other opposites. But if you get large walls, we always recommend working in a group of 2 or 3 people. If you haven't got those trained people around you, we can then offer that help and support along the way.
Okay. Question from David K. He says, "Hi Paul, do you need to wax after doing 3D plasma in wet rooms?"
In a wet room, yeah, you have to apply the like say you've got a Cristello, and then you've got the polyurethane sealers which you need to apply. Even though plasma is a waterproof product, we just, if you go into a wet room, we just want to reassure that it is properly 100% and sealed properly.
Yeah. Question from Paul Wilcoxon. He says, "Does the product touch up if repairs are needed?"
Certain products will touch up really easy. It all depends on the design as well, of what design you've got. If it's a really flat finish, let's say it was you did a metal finish and it's really flat, and you need to patch it in, it's going to be hard to patch that section in. So really, you might have to do that whole wall again. But it all depends on the design of the actual finish to see how easy it is to repair.
Okay. And another question here, are there any issues when working internal corners?
Internal corners is just basically doing wet edge. You're doing your a section of the wall first, and then once it's dried, you do the other sides of the wall. On the corners, that's something what you need to just practice with. Yeah, we teach you that on the course, but like I say, there's a couple of ways, different techniques how to go around those corners, but we show you everything on the course. Okay.
And a question from TJ. He says, "What's the target market for the product?"
The target market, basically, like I say, you are be going into, like I say, it's anywhere really. Years ago, it used to be just like say just commercial, but now it's domestic. It's gone crazy with these last couple of years basically. But like I say, with the amount you charge as well with this, you can't just say that it's £70 a square meter. You've got to really work the square meter to begin with. But after that, it's the possibilities are endless with the cost. Like I say, it can go up to £160 a square meter, but like I say, you just got to start somewhere. It's not really about the money or anything like that. It's just about you've got to treat these types of finishes like a hobby to begin with, and then as you progress, it becomes you get paid well for it as well. So it's all good.
Okay, and a question here about the courses. Damien Creedon's asking, are all the courses conducted in Southport, or do you have various locations?
We just do Southport at the moment. We will try to expand in the coming year, but really we're just homing in on Southport at the moment.
Okay, and I've got a couple of questions about your training courses. Do you sort of separate beginners from advanced or anything like that, or is it everybody taught together regardless of what stage they're at?
Yeah, so for instance, for the introductory course, we don't segregate anyone. We just basically normally have about 6 people in the course. You'll get certain people adapting a lot faster than others, but like I say, we cater for everyone, and yeah, we look after anyone who's struggling along the way.
Okay, and what about support? Once somebody's come and done a course with you, do you offer help or aftercare and support to those people afterwards?
Yeah, no, we always offer help. I'm always on the phone all hours of the day and night, just helping people. But yeah, we offer all support all the way. Yeah. Brilliant.
And David Ronald is saying, which course would be best for him to do for Reflesso?
The Reflesso course is a 2-day course. We do we have those courses available, but we always recommend to start with the introductory course first, which then gives you that that option, because we do on one of the boards we do on that introductory course, and we do actually do Reflesso. So we always say go do the introductory course first, and then if you wanted to, then we've got a 2-day Reflesso course. And I think, like I say, you have to go onto the website to see what dates there is on those ones. I'm not really sure what dates they are at the moment.
It sort of makes sense to start with an introductory course, doesn't it? So that you can sort of learn the skills and techniques and then sort of specialise on the finishes you want to do, doesn't it?
Yeah, like I say, the normal direction of plasterer wants to grab hold of a trowel and start polishing plaster, and it seemed like the more natural route to take. But it is, like I say, it's one of the hardest finishes there is, the Reflesso or the high polished stuccos. And what we try to say is jump onto the introductory course, get some of the easy finishes under your belt, and then keep on working away at the high polished finishes. And then in time, that will come natural to you, and then you can add that to the finishes you can offer the customer.
And what about decorators who've never picked up a trowel before, who aren't sort of familiar with doing things with trowels? Yeah. What would you advise the route for them?
No. Honestly, it does help having trowel experience, but we've had photographers, we've had a wide range of like architects who've never picked up trowels before in their lives. They've come on the course and they've blown everyone away with what they can do, what type of finishes they can do. It's been like they've even done better finishes than the teachers and everyone as well. So don't let the trowel get in the way of decorative finishes. Definitely not.
Paul Wilcox saying, I presume you need the same person applying in the same specific areas for uniformity of pattern and texture.
So basically, we on our courses we say random and natural movement, and that's what we're really homing in on. Basically, not all the products are like that. So all the line-based products, the micro cements, we try to have that philosophy, that route. The plasma, on the other hand, that's totally the opposite. That's more like going in bands. But yeah, with the motion, the trial action, it's just keep staying away from repetitive motions. But we teach you that all on the course. Okay.
So you don't necessarily need to have the same person doing the area then, because you want it more random.
Yeah. So but when you're doing certain finishes and you've got two people doing that finish, ideally, let's say for a Reflesso, for instance, you need those two people having the same pattern. Is that what you're trying to get at? Yeah.
I think that's what he's saying, that if you've got, would you need to sort of have him doing one area and somebody else doing another area, so that you've got the uniformity of the pattern and the texture?
So basically, if you have got a little bit of the change of pattern, what we tend to do is we keep on swapping over areas, so you keep on changing those the pattern. But over time, let's say normally what happens is you get one or two people, they work with each other for a certain amount of time and they just know each other's pattern. But normally when you don't have that option, you basically just keep on swapping, changing the area, so you've got keeping that pattern random at all times.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Paul? I've got another question from Connor Walsh. He's saying, hi Paul, as shown with the 3D plasma, you created a two-tone effect. Can a two-tone effect be created with Sharky?
Yes, you can do, yeah. It's not something what I've really experimented with, but we've, on the course, like I say, when we're in the booths, we allow the trainees just experiment and do whatever, and it was surprisingly good what we did. So that's how I learned through one of the trainees, basically just experimenting with a few different colours, and then that's how we discovered it. Basically, it looks amazing, the two-tone colour. Yeah,
brilliant. A question from Peter Lee. He says, "Can you use the 3D plasma on kitchen worktops?"
Yes, so the Plasma 3D you can use on floors, worktops, but ideally we just suggest, because it's such a long curing time, we have just the Plasma 3D we just apply on walls or use as a decorative finish. But the B plasma, which has got the hardener in, that can be applied on worktops, floors, anywhere, doors, it's just anywhere really.
It's more versatile.
Yeah.
Andy says, I'm guessing you protect wall edges and ceilings, etc. You don't want to be touched with tape. You didn't want to be touched with tape, he says.
Yeah, so you're talking about the angle and making sure you mask and taped those areas. Is that what you're?
I'm not sure. Paul, Andy, is that what you mean? Yeah, that's what he means.
Yeah, so when you come to do the taping of the ceiling, you don't want any of the products going on. You've got the Tessa tape, which we supply as well. You've got the pink, the yellow, the sensitive. But it's all about, we teach you this on the course as well, as I say, when you taking the tape off, if the paint on the ceiling hasn't been applied properly or hasn't been primed, no matter what tape you use, when you take that tape off, it always takes a bit of that paint away. So really, we like to suggest that you need to prime the ceiling first. Make sure you put the right paint on, and that'll reduce any problems in the future. But yeah, always tape up.
That makes sense. And George Pennington says, I'm completely new to Venetian plastering. I'm currently studying regular plastering at the moment and would like to add Venetian to my repertoire. What would be the best course for me to start with?
Yeah, so always introductory course. Like I say, just as a guideline, so we do the Chimera on the introductory course. We do the Sharkey. We do Infinito with the Chromafilm. We do Reflesso, and we do Volari. It's a wide range of products, and we do the Volari in the booth as well. It always goes down well with everyone. Everyone's always happy with what they've learned on the course, and it's a really, really good starting point.
Brilliant. So we've talked quite a bit about your training courses, and as I said, as we was coming in, we've got a really exciting opportunity for you guys to enter a competition to win an extensive 2 to 3 day training course at the Italiano Stucco Training Centre in Southport. I'm going to just pop a button up on the screen now for you to enter that competition when we finish. So if you just click on there, that will stay on there, and you can go through and put in your details to enter the competition. And winners will be the winner will be announced at the end of the Trade Decorator Festival at the end of February. Paul, with regards to your courses, how can the guys find out about courses and book on if they want to book on courses from here?
Yeah, so we've got the link. I'm sure we've got that up there as well to our website, Italiano Stucco. Basically, we've got about 8 different courses you can choose from on there. So you can either go there, or you can email or message me privately for a bit of advice on which courses are best suited for yourself. But yeah, you can just click onto that our website. I'm sure if it's there.
If you want to type it in at the end, Paul, you can just type it in, and then people can click on that, and it'll stay on the bottom of the session.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So I think we've come to the end of the questions and the end of the session. Thanks for joining me, Paul. It's been really informative.
No, thanks very much for everything you've done as well. And yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Brilliant. And thanks, guys, for joining the session. We have got more coming up for you tomorrow and right through to the 26th of February. If you've not booked on all the sessions yet, jump on our website, trade-decorator.co.uk, and click on the festival button, and you'll be able to see everything else we've got coming up right through till the end of February. I will put a link in this session for you as well when we finish. Thanks again, and thank you, Paul.